Congratulations on the film, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I'll be honest, I'm a bit annoyed that I haven't been able to listen to the soundtrack yet. There's only like a minute of the familiar Madrigal song. That's it. So I've had it on repeat for about a week. I don't know what that says about a 39-year-old man listening to Disney music. But it's all good. It's all good. But congrats again. It's all good. I have my Disney panel with me as well. Just
yes.
to make it Disney-fied.
Stephanie's got a club. She belongs to the adult Disney.
I'm a Disney adult. I'm a full Disney adult. Like full on hard. I go hard or I go home. And I don't go home. Often I stay over at the parks.
What's the first rule of the Disney adult club?
You talk about it.
Of course.
You talk about it all the time.
Club membership going. My first question was going to be, I listened to an interview with Lin-Manuel Miranda, and he said that he coached you guys over Zoom, which sounds like a very, very strange scenario anyway, doing stuff over Zoom as we've been doing. But to teach someone about the songs and how he kind of wants them to sing it, all that kind of stuff, must have been a strange experience. So I wanted to ask you guys about that. Maybe Stephanie, I'll start with you on that one.
You know, I didn't find it that strange because often animation is a little isolated in that you are in a booth by yourself performing with your script and a microphone, and often there's an engineer in a different room, and sometimes there's a director in a different room, but you're often isolated during animation. So I actually found it really great and useful that we were on a Zoom because they were all right here on this monitor that I had right here, and I could hear them at all times, as opposed to sometimes in the past with animation, everyone's in a booth on the other side of the room and they like turn off the sound so you can't hear anything at all. And I found it really helpful. And I also found that, you know, he was with you every step of the way. Lin-Manuel is your biggest cheerleader when you're working with him, and when you're singing his songs, he is truly like guiding you through them, almost as if he's got, you know, a helmet with a big flashlight on it and is holding your hand and like going this way. And then we're going to take this road. And then we're going to dive down here. And it's really joyful and fun to work with him. And he's so patient, which is really helpful for those of us that are, you know, nervous about what we're doing, or nervous about hitting notes, or nervous about trying to make it through the song without breathing. He's extremely kind and patient.
Diane, how is this experience for you doing the voices, working with Lin, working with all these amazing Disney people that have such an amazing track record of bringing so many amazing stories to life?
I can't even believe it. I really can't. I'm just like, you know, this is such a like big lesson on like, it was a big lesson on self-acceptance for me, right? Because I mean, as someone who has struggled with self-esteem, and, you know, having to like remind myself, hey, it's okay, you do belong here. You know, films like this will remind people that you are enough, and also that you're more than just your gift, and that you could have a gift and explore new ones and not be super great at them at the beginning, you know? And singing for me was this sort of thing that I've always loved to do. I grew up with Disney. I went to performance arts high school. I was in the vocal department. And so to do a Disney movie and to do Lin-Manuel and actually get to sing in it, it was incredible for me. I was very, very nervous in the booth. And the running joke with me and Lin was that, you know, the music would start and I would go, and like I'd miss the bus, you know, and he'd be like, he'd chime in, he'd go, you missed the bus again. And I'm like, no. And then he started like saying it in Spanish. Se fue la guagua. You know what I mean? And so that was sort of like the running joke, and it made me feel really comfortable. But this time it just became about, dude, just get on the bus and then go, you know?
And you two were quite nervous, but John, you've done this a couple of times before. Was it nice to go to work doing vocal stuff and not having to do the lisp that you had to do in an isolation, just use your normal voice?
Yeah, you know, I like to do a voice, actually. I do like I like to do a voice, and I try to do a voice here, and the incredible directors are like, no, John, we want you to come to the party. And I was like, I don't know if I want to be in the party. I like to do like something, you know, like a, you know, invent a voice or do a voice, do something. Otherwise, I don't feel like I'm doing anything. But they guided me. I mean, Jared and Byron are incredible, and Charissa's script and Lin, like Stephanie was saying, he was so patient, because I'm not a singer or a rapper. I mean, I rap in the shower, but you don't want to hear that. You don't want to be in my shower at all anyway. But But he really was patient, man, until I got, because I like Diane, I kept missing like Wawa. You know, the bus was coming. I like, damn it, I should have been here 5 minutes early. Bus is gone. I'll get the next one.
And this, I mean, this story is, I mean, there's so much going on in it. And what's amazing about it is that there's no kind of, even though Stephanie, your character is kind of the lead character, you're all kind of lead characters. It's about a family and it's about the dynamic of all of you. Was it refreshing for you guys to read a script where all the characters weren't just kind of bit parts, that they were all kind of all fleshed out and they all had their part to play in this incredible ensemble to bring this family story to life? Maybe Diane, I'll chuck that at you first.
I think it's just so telling of the story itself, you know, about how all are special and all have a part to play. And like, that's what really a family is. When a family member starts feeling bad, or their gifts are being used or turned, or someone's not being given the love that they need or deserve, that family is not going to be balanced. And I think that the movie did so wonderfully in like letting everyone know that they had a part. And that's just what it is in a real family. And like, everyone just needs to exercise their beauty and their gifts to the best of their ability. And if you don't have a gift yet, you'll find it. And we're all here to support you, you know?
Yeah. And they have a crazy uncle, which, you know, most families.
We all have a crazy uncle.
We all have a crazy uncle. This time he's
Or an aunt,
but then you figure out he's not crazy. He's not
John,
crazy at all. If we would have just listened to him, we would have been fine.
Wasn't crazy. You know? The crazy ones maybe aren't so crazy.
Exactly.
I
John,
think that's the lesson right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, John, for you, I mean, what was it like playing this character? Because he comes onto the screen in such a way with his brilliant, magnificent hair that he has, which needs cutting, but I think he should keep it. But what was it like playing him? Because he's the kind of the eccentric one out of everybody. Although, is he the eccentric one? Is the question, I guess.
Right. I mean, you know, I kind of relate to Bruno. Unfortunately, I kind of do, because I have the same problem as he does without a power. I'm always I was the black sheep of the family back in the day when I was young, and I always also I have a drink or two, and I will start telling the truth or say the stuff that nobody wants to hear, and then I get pushed aside. So I understand his power, you know, like he's got the power. He tells everybody the truth. It's kind of like it's the future, but it's more like he's telling the truth, and nobody wants to hear it. The family wants to like all families. All families don't want to hear the truth, but part of the glue of a family is not hearing the truth. It's what keeps it together. And then hearing the truth is a strong pill to swallow.
Yeah. And Stephanie, for you, what was it playing Mirabel? Because she's such a vibrant character. As soon as we meet her, and she goes on this incredible journey, and she's finding out about, you know, the family and everything else. What was it like for you playing not just the character, but this character in particular that wasn't just a strong female character, but also representative of you know, Colombia and all that kind of stuff that was in between?
You know, I think the thing that I identify the most with Mirabel was her use of comedy, and like, and I don't know that you always see that in oftentimes in the structure of many Disney animation stories. The comedy is given to sort of these sidekick characters, and in a weird way, Mirabel's always had to be her own sidekick because she's often alone. She's often left out because she doesn't have these gifts. She's often sort of like trying to be involved. And because of that, there's a lot of like almost talking to herself that you see in the film, and like using comedy to sort of release the pressure of whatever these family discussions are, right? And like, I think everybody knows someone in their family that does that, that's able to sort of make an aside and everyone laughs, and everything that was so tense kind of deflates a little bit. I love that about her. And like, I also appreciate that as it's written on the page, there's this new thing that Charisse and Jared and Byron brought to this heroine, which is her use of comedy in these situations, which I don't think you always see. You know, there's like, oftentimes there's these like weird discussions that are still happening. I quote, you know, like finger quotes in the air, discussions that are happening about whether or not women can be funny, which is a ridiculous notion in and of itself. And I think that bringing that comedy to Mirabel is so cool, because it allows kids to see like that is also an okay expression of yourself as a person, your humor.
Yeah. It's there's so much going on in this film, but I have to say the way that they've captured you doing this and you doing that, it's absolutely in the film. It's almost like you motion captured Mirabel.
There are some times where it's very because like I come from a theater background, so like I'm very expressive just as a person, and sometimes I'm watching the film and I'm going like, oh no, is that what my face does when I'm doing that? Oh, no. But I think it might be, which is like, that's okay, that's fine. Yeah.
There's not a better compliment than Disney putting yourself into a film. And
not bad at all. Not bad.
Guys, thank you so much for your time today. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you for your time.
Guys, fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Cheers.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey,